Hey guys, welcome back to this place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, all by myself today, no cats present, sadly. And we are going to be watching season 1, episode 6. Yes, episode 6 of For All Mankind. We have crossed the halfway point and are on the descent. Kind of on the descent onto the moon. Because in the last episode, we have established, Jamestown base. We also landed on the moon with Cobb and Ed and Gloria's husband, whatever his name is. We also discovered ice. And we had some nice bonding moments between Karen and Wayne and Ed and Molly. So I think that's a pretty good recap. I am eager to see where we go from here 2 years later as they ended the episode. So I'm curious what the dynamics will be. Like maybe Karen and Wayne will be friends now. Maybe, who knows? I don't even know. I don't know. But I am excited to see. So let me stop rambling and let's just get right into it. Oh, okay. We're jumping 2 more years in the future. Okay.
Houston, this is Jamestown base. We read you.
You better not start festivities without us.
He's on the base.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Is that Danielle behind him?
A woman becomes one of our flight directors for the very first time.
Huh?
She earned her place at this desk through her dedication and commitment to the highest standards of this program, by the depth of her technical and professional knowledge.
Who is it?
But most of all, by the leadership she demonstrated during the establishment of Jamestown base.
Molly?
Her ability is unquestioned. Her character and integrity are of the highest order. And so, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of President Kennedy, it is my honor and privilege to present to you our new White Team Flight Director for the launch of Apollo 23.
Okay.
Irene Hendricks.
Oh, Irene Hendricks. Margot doesn't love that.
That the final vote is being cast now, and the vote is yay.
Oop, I thought they were about to kiss. I was like, can you do this right now? Are they still pretending to date Larry and, is it Ellen?
The astronauts are, in ranking of seniority, Ellen Waverly,
Oh,
mission commander,
Ellen.
Harrison Liu, and Deke Slayton.
What? Come on, Deke, what are you doing?
My medical clearance for flight status, signed, sealed, and delivered.
What?
You've had a heart condition since Mercury. Everyone knows that.
Which has officially been noted as no longer a flight risk by the medical staff, as attested to in the document in your hand.
So he can go?
And as chief of the astronaut office,
Oh,
I'm
he's gonna get to
assigning
go?
Deke Slayton to prime crew on Apollo 24. As far as I'm concerned, that's the final word.
Jesus.
I hope nothing bad happens to him.
And I would really like to include Mrs. Stevens in these discussions since her son is one of the boys involved.
Well, Mrs. Stevens is
Tracy.
unable to attend due to the demands of her job.
Yes, she's an astronaut. I'm aware of that.
As is her husband and my husband, both of whom are on the moon at this moment.
I'm aware of that too, Mrs. Baldwin.
Okay.
And I can only imagine the stresses and strains that must put on both families.
Oh, we manage. Thank you.
Maybe that's why your kids are lashing out.
No way Americans are gonna watch their daughters march off to war. Believe me.
I used to say that about women in space, too. It's all just a matter of time.
It's the Equal Rights Amendment, ma'am, not the Gay Rights Amendment.
You can both be as cynical as you like, but the winds of change are blowing.
They're focusing so much on this, it's stressing me out.
I'm hungry. Do they still have those double-decker cheeseburgers? Fido, do we have updates on launch winds yet?
Yes, flight just got the balloon data from the Cape. We're within
Did
launch
that just
parameters.
blow up?
Keep an eye on the data.
It's blowing up!
Last
It's
flight,
blow.
we came close to
Someone
exceeding
look at the
angle of
fucking
attack
screen! I just learned Jean's name. I swear. I knew they were focusing too much on it. And these people that we did not know, like the astronaut Mike guy. What the fuck just happened?
The 3 astronauts who were pulled away from the exploding vehicle by the emergency launch escape tower are still recovering from injuries sustained when their damaged command module landed on the beach instead of the ocean.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, the 3
So they're
astronauts
still
stranded
alive?
at Jamestown base continue to do experiments and do maintenance work on America's first manned habitat on the moon. Astronauts Baldwin, Stevens, and Poole have been receiving resupply provisions via unmanned Titan rockets while they wait for NASA's Board of Inquiry to identify the cause.
I was wondering, I was like, are they just gonna be stuck there with no supplies?
Special Agent Donahue has been given wide latitude by the Department of Justice to follow any lead that could be related to security breaches here at NASA. And I'm sure the entire Board of Inquiry will give him full cooperation. Thank you all for coming.
I guess you can't say no to the FBI.
If an astronaut had died on that pad, there'd be a hell of a lot more than a plaque and a picture. After Apollo 1, you couldn't turn on a television or look at a magazine or newspaper for months without seeing the faces of those guys. American heroes, best of the best. The nation mourns. But one of us dies, one of the faceless, nameless grunts in mission control, and it's
You're behind the
picture and a
scenes
plaque,
guy.
and then back to happy days and $6 Million Man.
I mean, the thing is, there's jobs that get all the glory, and then there's ones that don't. Aleda, how is she here? Her dad works here, right? She's just
How'd you get in here?
doing homework.
Oh, sorry, my father let me in. Octavio Rosales. He's one of the janitors. He talked to one of the security guards who said it was okay.
Did he?
I wonder if that counts as a breach of security. I mean, I'm okay with it, but maybe the FBI won't be. Oh.
Logarithms. Hated those.
They're not too difficult.
Not yet.
The Board of Inquiry would like you to collect an outside report that was prepared on the Saturn explosion and bring it to us.
What do you mean by collect?
They,
Well, exactly that.
they want you to
Collect the report and bring it to us.
So I'm a messenger now. It's one thing to be passed over, but I didn't count on being demoted to the mailroom.
I think Von Braun has it, maybe?
Irene Hendricks was the most qualified person to become White Team Flight Director.
Even though she's been with the agency for less than 5 years, while I started at NASA in 1966.
I'm sorry? Really, I am. But I'm afraid the book is closed on that subject.
Fine. But I'm not a messenger.
This is a delicate situation.
It's Von Braun, right?
He will only give the report to you.
It has to be. It's Von Braun.
No.
He won't give it to anyone else.
I don't want to see him.
This isn't personal. He built the Saturn V, and we need his analysis.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is personal.
The man is a war criminal. He should be prosecuted.
That is your opinion.
It's a fact,
And it's
actually.
not one that is shared by the majority of the board.
It's a fact, actually, not an
We
opinion.
need the report prepared by Dr. Von
He is a
Braun,
war criminal.
and he has informed us that he will only give it to you. So, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to ask you to go and get it for us.
I would be like, what the fuck am I getting?
The Zvezda base, also situated on the rim of
Zvezda.
Shackleton Crater, is 8 miles northwest of the American Jamestown base. Today marks the first time when crews from the USSR and the U.S. are on the lunar surface at the same time.
Well, interesting.
It would be a profound mistake to allow our boys to communicate with the Soviets.
I was gonna say, why can't we have communication?
Certainly understand your point of view, and I appreciate the advice. But that's not really the purpose of my call. I want to let you know that I've decided to pardon you for all crimes that you may have committed in connection with the...
Oh, so Watergate is a thing still.
Perfect location. It's near the boys' school, our house, even JSC.
Why don't you move into it then?
Oh, so you and Sheila can finally have the house to yourselves.
Like I would ever lay a hand on Sheila. She can't even cook.
I guess they're done pretending that everything's okay, though.
Danny's taking a shower.
Well, don't forget to wash your back.
I don't want to screw Danielle. Okay?
Well,
It's great talking to you, Gordo.
you've definitely screwed other women. Kind of awkward to have those conversations, like, can't really go very far.
Trouble in paradise?
See?
Sorry, Danny.
Don't worry, Gordo. I don't want to screw you either.
Are you familiar with an area of Houston called the Montrose District?
Yeah, it's downtown, isn't it?
That's right. Do you frequent that area?
Oh, is it a gay district?
Have any relatives or friends in that area?
No, it's not really my scene.
So you've never been to an establishment called the Bayou Landing?
Don't think so.
The Bayou Landing is a dance hall.
Okay.
For homosexuals.
Yeah, I already got that from your district talk.
Is that right? Huh.
We've had it under surveillance for a few months now.
For what purpose?
The whole neighborhood's turning into a hotbed for radicals and communist sympathizers. Lots of European types, bikers, artists, militant homosexuals.
In Houston?
What is a militant homosexual? Please.
An anonymous source reported seeing someone matching your description entering the establishment last Saturday.
A white man? It's not very descriptive.
Ellen Waverly. Dating 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you married? Is that what he's gonna say?
3 years is an awfully long time. Most girls would have dragged a man down the aisle by now.
Well, Ellen's not most girls. Besides, it's hard to save for a ring on a government salary. I'm sure you can understand.
I think I do.
This guy's trouble.
Yeah.
He'll be talking to you eventually, and he's gonna be looking for ways to trip you up. Don't believe anything he tells you.
Isn't lying to the FBI a crime? Am I gonna be committing a felony here?
I don't...
Yes, you are.
Is that?
It's that.
About your
or
sexuality?
You can tell him the truth. And get us both shit canned out of NASA and held up as degenerate perverts before the whole world.
What a fucking messed up way to think about people and life.
I tried to talk to you at his funeral, but you left without a word.
Oh. I had work.
Mm.
Now, what's this about?
I think her dad's died in the past few years. Because I don't think he was dead before.
My dinner. Anna left me one of her casseroles before she took Yosef to Disney World. Have you been? Walt's vision is extraordinary. A great man. Such a shame he did not live to see it.
I'm not staying for dinner.
I believe I have a good burgundy to go with it.
I'll be like, give me the papers and let me leave.
And you know what? I'm making enchiladas. You should stay for dinner.
I'd love to.
She has to go somewhere.
But I've got an early day tomorrow.
You gotta eat dinner, right? I doubt that Karen cooks at like 9 p.m.
Why do you find it so hard to simply talk to me?
Because she knows the truth.
I've known you practically your whole life.
But she didn't know the truth.
You learned how to play the piano. Right over there. Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother when he sins against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times.
Is that what you want?
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness? Is that it? Okay. I forgive you for all of your many sins. There. Are we done now? Can I have my report so I can go?
I only want you to listen so that I can tell you things, important things,
like
your father wanted you to know.
Then why didn't he tell me himself? Huh? Why? That man had every opportunity to tell me whatever he wanted. A whole lifetime. And now I'm supposed to hear some words from beyond the grave delivered by...
Margot, I only want to fulfill a promise I made to a friend of many years. Will you allow me to do that?
Just say the shit you gotta say, and then we'll see.
When I graduated college, the first woman in my family on either side, by the way, you know what he did? He gave me a desk calendar. That's how important I was to him.
Did he at least say?
And now I'm supposed to feel bad because he died a lonely old man. Well, I'm sorry. But isn't there something in your Bible about reaping what you sow?
Yes. And your father reaped the whirlwind. He did some very secret work for the government. He started working on radar in 1942, but within the year he was recruited on something much bigger.
What?
By Robert Oppenheimer. Your father worked on the Manhattan Project.
He worked on the fucking bomb?
That's not
the atomic bomb?
These are his files.
Like Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
He worked with John von Neumann to devise a method whereby a plutonium core could be compressed into a critical mass through a spherical implosion. It was brilliant work. Such complex calculations were thought outside the realm of the possible when they began. Their work led directly to the creation of the weapon that was used on Nagasaki.
That's
Yes.
horrible.
The bombing had a profound effect on your father. It shook him to
Regret?
his core.
Guilt?
In retrospect, he felt as if he'd been a participant in something horrific.
He had.
Something evil.
He had.
He and I discussed the moral ramifications of the atomic bomb many times. I tried to tell him that he had saved millions of lives by avoiding the invasion of Japan. He would not hear of it.
That doesn't...
He retreated from the world.
Excuse it.
And from you. Your mother. It was only at the end of his life that he decided you should know the truth. But he could not bring himself to tell you.
I don't think that excuses ignoring your daughter her entire life.
Kissing girls is just a phase for you? Maybe.
She knows it's not, but she wants to keep herself safe.
I thought it was just a phase. Something I'd do for a while, and then it'd pass. Then it didn't. It's who I am. I know.
I just feel so bad because, like, they're stuck in a time where they can't love who they love because fucking society says it's wrong.
You are wasting your talent. Wasting your God-given gifts.
I've done pretty well.
But not as well as Irene Hendricks. Yes, I do stay in touch with what is happening back at the ranch.
How do you know about that?
In 10 years, I'll be running NASA.
No, you will not.
I think she's
Allow me
capable.
to be blunt. You are not what is called a team player, Margot. You have many strengths. Intelligence, intuition, cunning. determination.
I'm part of the team in mission control.
Because I was your mentor. And because the late Gene Kranz looked kindly upon you. Nonetheless, now you have seniority, experience, impeccable credentials. So why were you passed over for flight director?
Oh, because the guy's an asshole.
Why?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. It is because you do not play the game. You resist forming the social bonds necessary to be seen as a team member. Because you see them as trivial and unimportant, insisting that merit and merit alone is the only important metric for advancement. Therefore, you are not and will never be seen as a team leader.
But
thanks for the pep talk.
Her marriage should
I'll manage
be
somehow.
what matters.
Can I have the fucking report now?
I like Margot.
The valve is the culprit, that much is obvious. The question is, why did it fail?
Defects in the manufacturing process.
Or
yes, but again,
sabotage.
why?
Could have been.
Do you know why the thousands of contractors and subcontractors who supply the Saturn V are spread across the continental United States? Do you think it's an accident that so many are located in key congressional districts?
NASA gave the contract for the valve to the wrong company for political reasons?
When I was reviewing the supply chain for the Saturn, as part of my analysis, I was puzzled to find that the LH2 valve was manufactured by Kirkland Aerospace, a company located in Rockford, Illinois. I was puzzled because I remembered that contract. I had given it to a company from Colorado Springs in the mid-60s. Then, in early 1973, NASA changed contractors.
Why?
So, why the change? You don't need to read the report. Think. Why give a contract to a company in Illinois? What was politically important about that state to the administration that had just taken office in 1973?
The Equal Rights Act, right?
The Equal Rights Amendment. Everyone was surprised that a Republican governor suddenly threw his weight behind the ERA. You're saying it was because NASA moved a contract to Illinois?
A huge contract. And in a district where he needed support for his own re-election campaign.
Oh.
It's all in the report.
NASA being shady.
This is gonna cause a firestorm in NASA. In Congress. The White House.
If it is made public.
Which
why wouldn't
the current director guy will not.
The board's whole report will be made public.
Because it holds the potential to do great harm to the president, Administrator Weisner will take my report, classify it as top secret, and bury it, never to be seen again.
I don't believe that.
I fully believe that.
Weisner may not be the best administrator we've ever had, but he's not that cynical.
Yeah, he is.
Weisner is a political creature. His only loyalty is to Kennedy.
I've seen him.
And he will not allow Teddy's great achievement
for a small
of passing
amount of
the
time
ERA to be stained by this sort of ugly politics.
I already think he's
So, the only question that
shady,
remains is who will benefit from this situation.
What are you saying?
Every political system is flawed. And every bureaucracy is corrupt.
Sure. So he wants her to use that to her advantage?
So what are you saying?
The same as all the other doctors. You know, there's a chance that it could work, but of course he can't offer any guarantees.
Should they want to have another baby?
He said, well, isn't the limb right there on the surface and the command module waiting in orbit? I mean, that's their lifeboat. Just tell Dad to take his lifeboat and come home.
Smart kid.
Yeah.
She wants him to do that too.
What should I tell him?
What are you
telling him? It's like being in the Navy. Someone gives you an order, you carry it out. And my orders are to hold this post until I'm properly relieved. So that's what I'm going to do. Hold until relieved.
I'll tell him.
She wanted him to tell her too.
I'm classifying this report as top secret as of this moment. on my authority as NASA administrator. You are bound by oath as a government employee not to reveal any of your knowledge about this report, or even that it exists. Doing so could open you to being charged with revealing classified information and spending 20 years in a federal penitentiary. Do I make myself clear, Miss Madison?
Every system is corrupt.
Mm-hmm. I guess she just had to find out for herself.
I made a copy.
I could have you arrested right now.
And I have a friend who will mail it to the New York Times tomorrow morning unless I personally tell them not to.
What do you want?
What I deserve. Flight director.
There aren't any openings on the red, white, or blue teams.
Make one.
Honestly, I'm proud of her. I'm glad that she actually made a copy and like listened to Von Braun, because I didn't know if she would. She gonna help the later?
You need one of these.
Oh.
It's called a slide rule. Come see me in my office in 20 minutes and I'll show you how to use it.
Thank you.
You play the piano?
No.
You're gonna learn.
I like that. I like that mentorship. What's he looking at? What the fuck are those red lights? It's a great song, but like, what the fuck were those lights? He's supposed to be where an uncharted area, right? Y'all, I was joking, but he might have really just fucking found an alien. Yeah, it's about a year after Apollo 21. So, anyway, I was just curious about that. So, let's start with the end, because Gordo is supposed to be an uninhabited space, like he said, where I'm seeing things no one's ever seen before. Like, he thinks I'm the first human to look out. Maybe he is the first human to look out and see stuff. But then there's 3 flashing red lights in the distance. Have we just discovered alien life? Have we discovered extraterrestrial existence? Like, what is that? Or is it the Soviets? Is it the Russians? Like, or is it aliens? Yeah, I have no idea if the show is going to introduce the idea of aliens or not, but I think it would be cool if it did. Hopefully they're not like bad aliens. Like I did mention previously, and I think it was the last episode, when they were going down into the crater because it was so dark, I was like, I hope that we don't see some like proto-molecule shit. If you've seen Expanse, you know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of the fear. Hopefully it comes in peace if it is an alien of some sort, which it would be ironic if Gordo is the one who makes first contact, because didn't he say that if he was the first man on the moon, he would have said, I'm Gordo Stevens and I come in peace, which I thought was just like a throwaway funny line. But if they introduce the idea of extraterrestrial life and Gordo is the one who makes first contact, or at least is the first one to see it, I think that's like a funny little thing that they said before that they can then bring back in later. What could that mean though? I mean, it could be dangerous for everyone. Could they have like way advanced technology? I'm just trying to think of like what it could mean if we discovered existence of extraterrestrial life in 1974. You know? Is Roswell gonna happen? When did Roswell happen in real life? Let me look it up real quick. The Roswell incident was in 1947. I thought it was before this, but I couldn't remember. So I wonder if they'll I'm just curious if they'll go there with aliens and stuff. I think it's also possible that it's just someone else, like another human, but we just won't know until they tell us, right? But yeah, that was exciting. I really like Margot and Aleda in this episode. I like that she's sort of going to carry on being a mentor, except for she has no, atrocities and war crimes in her past that are gonna cause Aleda to like get upset at her one day. But I really like the forming of the mentorship there, and I like the way that they paralleled it with Von Braun's mentorship of her, and I like that she didn't just she listened to him and she took in what he said and she took his advice, but she didn't just automatically forgive him because he wanted it. Now, the thing is, I think that people are capable of change, right? But also he knew about and allowed Jewish people to be forced into labor for him in a concentration camp factory, so it's just like, it's hard for me to want to give him any grace because unfortunately we still live in a world where anti-Semitism is high and people deny the Holocaust and people deny the significance of the Holocaust, and it's just, we live in a world where the seriousness of it is taught but not retained by some people, and it's terrifying. It's completely terrifying. And it's just, the little that I know from studying in school, documentaries, listening to people's firsthand accounts, it's hard for me to think that somebody who is capable of what Von Braun allowed to happen deserves any sort of forgiveness. I think it's easy for him to sit in this nice cushy house with his nice cushy life and preach about forgiveness and recite the Bible and shit, but look what you did. You don't deserve this nice cushy life and this nice cushy house where someone makes you fucking dinner. I'm sorry, I get very upset about it, but I don't know. I don't want Margot to forgive him. Maybe that makes me a bad person. I don't know. I don't want her to forgive him. I don't think I could forgive if I learned that. It doesn't matter how close I was to the person before. Knowing that they were capable of that would forever alter my perception of that person. That's just the truth. Also, I do not think her father is a horrible person for being involved in the Manhattan Project. However, I think that the Manhattan Project was a horrible thing. What came of it was a horrible thing. And I don't think anything justifies it. I'm not gonna lie. What we did, the United States, to Nagasaki, Hiroshima. I don't think anything ever makes that okay. Again, that's just my opinion. I know other people will have differing opinions, but yeah, I can understand why her father would feel forever shameful and guilty for having any small part in that, because I think it's warranted, you know? I don't know that I think that his shame and his guilt and the fact that he retreated in on himself negates, like, his trauma. I don't know if that negates the fact that he caused his daughter trauma, you know? Like, he was going through shit. He was guilty, ashamed, all the things about what he had done. But completely ignoring your daughter and making her feel like you don't care about her for her entire life seems like something that might be on you, you know? I don't know. Maybe some of the people in this episode have, like, are testing my empathy. I feel like I can usually be very empathetic, but also it's like, care about your kid? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, let your kid know that you care about them. Let them know that they matter to you. Like, I don't think that that's that hard. I don't know, you guys. Maybe I'm just being unnecessarily harsh on Margot's dad, but I really like Margot as a character, and seeing that she struggled so much with her dad and trying to hope that he cared about her. I feel like at the very least he could have tried harder to make it clear to her that she mattered to him. Although, the thing is, I also like to try to take into account, like, we're in 1974. Before, like, when she was getting raised, it was even before that. So, therapy, ability to process your emotions in a healthy way, ability to understand what your emotions are and to, like, work through them, especially for men at this time. Not exactly accepted, not exactly talked about, not exactly readily available. So maybe I am being too harsh on him, because maybe he genuinely did not have the resources or the wherewithal to delve into his trauma and try to fix himself enough that he could be capable of taking care of another human being, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll be willing to give her father a bit more grace, because something like that would weigh on your soul. And maybe even his thing was like, he felt so dirty from doing it that he didn't want to contaminate his daughter by associating with her and then also making her dirty. Not that I believe in that, like, not that I think that that's possible, right? But I think that I can understand that as a train of thought, and that as, like, logic to a person, you know? Because I think we've all at times felt like, I don't deserve this person, I'm not good enough for this person, I need to in some way prove the, you know, person I'm capable of being in order to deserve love or deserve care or deserve attention. And if he felt unworthy of that, then maybe he felt unworthy of her, his daughter, and therefore unable to take up space in her life, because anything that he could do would never be enough to make it right, you know? Also, am I delving way too far into the psychology of a person that we will never meet and have only heard about? Probably. But I felt I felt that it mattered. Yeah, I don't know. I found that really interesting. I feel really bad for Ellen and Larry and the bartender girl, who I learned her name and I've already forgotten it. But I just feel bad for them because they just, like, I feel like we think that our world is very intolerant, and in a lot of ways it is. But to exist in this world where you cannot possibly be honest about who you are and who you love, because you'll get fired from your job, you'll get possibly arrested, you'll be ostracized, you know, maybe killed, maybe beat up, maybe who knows what. I know that in some places in the world today it is still that bad, and that is horrifying. But I'm gonna cry again. I don't know what else to say except for I feel horrible for them, because what is their recourse? You know? Like, why do people care? Why did people ever care? Why do people still care? Like, who someone else loves, like, how the fuck does that have to do with anyone but the two of them? Like, I can't get on this. I can't get on this because I will be here all night. But my heart breaks for them. My heart breaks for Ellen, who's trying to convince herself that she can fall in love with a man and live a normal, happy life because she sees that as the only viable option. My heart breaks for the bartender girl who tried the same thing and knows that it's not possible and is now about to lose Ellen. I really worry. I worry that Ellen and Larry are gonna end up getting married. And they're gonna just live a sad life together, not being able to be with who they really want to be with. I don't know. It's just sad. And fuck that FBI guy, because, like, is it any of your fucking business, bitch? Go away. That's my opinion on him. Donahue, I think. Also, I can't believe that it's taken me this long to get here, but the Apollo 23 blew up. Like, it just blew up. It was like a fucking powder keg, and it exploded. It exploded because it was made of shitty materials because of a political agenda by NASA and the president. And the scary thing is that this show is fiction, but how many times do we think in real life huge things that are classified have happened that we don't know about, and it's all been like politically motivated? Because not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I have a feeling that it's a lot more than we would care to even know, honestly. I think it's terrifying how much certain companies are in the pocket of certain people in positions of power in government. And I'm just going to leave that there. R.I.P. to Gene, because I really liked him. He seemed like a nice guy. I always enjoyed his interactions with Deke. Didn't love when he was a little bit sexist towards Margot about having a baby. But it's one of those things that I just tell myself, 1969, 1970, something now, you know? And then I just breathe and move on. I feel bad for Tracy. It seems like she is sort of struggling, obviously, in her relationship with Gordo. It seems that they have decided to separate, which is probably for the best, in my opinion, because it seems maybe he's continued to cheat on her. However, I feel bad for her because it's clear that her son is really struggling with his parents being gone a lot and is lashing out. And yeah, it's just sad, you know? Like, I feel bad for him and I feel bad for their family, and it looks like Tracy now, maybe because of that and because of everything that she's missing in her kid's life, is sort of questioning her decision to be an astronaut. And I mean, honestly, I'm behind her, whatever she chooses. I think she did what she wanted to do. Like, she could still go to the moon. Her Apollo mission is pretty soon, honestly. But also, if she wants to quit, then I think that at this point, it's not her quitting because she's just throwing in the towel when things get hard. I think it's her making a choice to be there for her family. And I wouldn't fault her for that, you know. Weisner as the director is, excuse me, not my favorite person. I think that he's shady, he's in people's pockets, and I think there was no way that he was ever going to do anything but label that as top secret and continue on. I also think that Ed is not looking so great. Like, he's got the dark circles, he's got the tired look on his face. Gordo's not looking too great either, although Gordo also just possibly saw an alien. So how are you supposed to look after that? I don't know. Anyway, I think I am done rambling because, okay, it's also possible someone just hit a skunk. I honestly cannot tell what the smell is. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, you can watch the next episode right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube. While you're over there, you can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode and all the episodes so far of For All Mankind. That is over on Patreon as well, which is, again, linked in the description down below. Yeah, that's it for now. I hope to see you guys next time for episode 7. We're almost done with this season, you guys. That's crazy. Until then, bye guys.